All right, everybody, let's take a look at ES and crude and what they did today and what the trades were. So on ES, I was looking for this level to get tapped. And by now, if you've been watching my channel, you know why, right? So market rallied. So before I go any further, on the top are the time-based charts, the daily, hourly, 5-minute. And below that are its corresponding tape-reading charts, which basically chop up the candles and provide volume at price, volume at the prices. All right. So we see very clearly that this was the breakout right here on the hourly. It's the biggest in 100 bars. And now I'm just looking for its pullback to test. All right. So before it tested today's low, it had it tested, the creek or whatever it's called it, the breakout right here, and it couldn't go. All right. So it tested here. Maybe I draw it. This was your we call creek or tested the breakout. It broke out here, pullback test 1, test 2, it tried to spring, but it couldn't do anything. So I know it's going to go to a lower level. So it went to a lower level, and now the idea is, which level is it going to go to? So you just, I was waiting for this in advance. What the hell did I just do? And it's this area right here. Why? This has accumulation right here. You see all of this? This accumulation. And this is the high volume print that initiated the breakout. So here you had, 16 times 10,000. So it's 160,000 contracts here. Right, so over here, this is around 200,000, and then it was falling back. So I'm expecting support to come in here. Now, how do you know? I know this much. I know that even if new buyers or existing buyers don't jump in, the existing sellers who are on the other side of this trade will want to get out because they're losing money in their positions. And that can create the buy to cover, orders, which will cover and create a bounce. So that's basically what I'm looking for. So, and then, new and existing buyers may also jump in. So the shorts that are underwater, they're losing money, at least they'll get in. They'll cover their positions. All right. So it's coming back down. It taps this level. And it's even highlighted. So, I know in advance that this is a high volume print, and that's where it went. It went right here, tapped right here. You see that? Right there. And the buyers came in, or covering came in, and initiated the uptrend. And guess where the uptrend is going? It's going into this area where there was heavy selling. This is 28, meaning 280,000 contracts was sold here to break this low. And it just went around there. It's hanging out around there. Now, it's just around there. Now, I don't know what's going to happen next, but I just marked the levels and see what happens. All right. So the important thing to notice is that this was an attempted breakout right here. It went into an up thrust position and got rejected. So that is meaningful, like right here. So the market broke out, pulled back to test creek, test 1, test 2, ain't going nowhere. Go down here, created some buying pressure, went to the high over here, and could not break out and reversed. So now what does that mean? It means they might attempt. I think this bar is actually bigger than the breakout bar. That is one of the key indicators of a valid upthrust. So that the reversal bar of the upthrust looks like a breakout bar in the opposite direction. Again, one of the key indicators for springs and upthrusts, in this case an upthrust, is that what you're expecting as a breakout bar instead comes back as a reversal bar. So you're expecting a big bar up, but you get a big bar down. And this bar is the biggest in about 10 in 5 bars. And breakout bars are unhappy, that's for sure. So now we'll see how this thing sets up. It might just move sideways and reaccumulate or distribute. So I don't know what's going to happen now, but it's in limbo right now. Trend is still up. Yeah, we know that. The other thing to note is, where's that daily level? I thought it was higher. Yeah, it's up here. So we'll see how it reacts to the 49.16, I think, around there. So across this, it's this area right here. So it says 49.20, but to be more exact, it's like 49.16 and change. So we'll just wait for a price to, oh, wait a second, 48, oh, shit. Can't see it. It says 49.16 here, 49.20, so around that area. So just wait, and why am I picking that level is, look here, okay? At 5,000, we have 162,000 contracts. At 49.80, we have 910. Underneath that, we have 2111 times 1,000. Underneath that, we have 1862 times 1,000. And here we have 4,962 times 1,000 contracts traded here. So there's shit over here. Like this, there's juice over here. All right. And underneath that, there's nothing that rivals that amount. See, this is the largest print. And you have a high volume print here as well. So I'm looking for it to test this area, and then I'll see if it, if there's pressure. Okay. The other thing to notice is the market broke above this, but it's not with the amount of authority. Like it's not really a big bar, right? So that's not a good sign. It even looks like an upthrust within an uptrend. And if you understand how many times I showed you guys, upthrust within an uptrend set up springs. All right, so we'll see if this level holds. If it doesn't, I'll be expecting that this low is going to get sprung right here. All right, so which is 48.66. So first we look at 49.16, around 49.16, to see if the buying pressure comes at that level. Otherwise, short until this low where you might have a potential spring. Anyway, so that's the story, Jack. All right, now let's go over crude. This again, just by having the high time frame and those levels, you have the right perspective. A lot of folks, they got screwed because what they did was they saw oil and they saw this hourly bar right there. The hourly bar, this is the biggest breakdown in 11 bars, so it's a good break. But I knew there's something not quite right. Why? Because there's a very strong level here on the daily. So this is the problem. If you're looking at just one higher time frame, you always want to also look at the daily. All right. So if you just look at the hourly, you're going to see it's just going down and not realize that the daily has an up wave and we're in a pullback position, a deep pullback with a lot of volume here. So here you had, I think it was 72.62, and it's breaking down and it's testing and all of that, and it comes down here. Now, this is where it gets really interesting for me. And I'll show this. First thing is, you see this low, 79.79? I mean, 71.79? All right. Now you see this low, 71.51. It rejected that low. So this is also a spring in a downtrend. A spring in a downtrend sets up an up thrust in the downtrend to go down. They basically take out both sides, all right? And then there's other things that go on in terms of, covering and stops and all that. I don't want to get into all that. But typically, if you see a spring in a downtrend sets up an up thrust, which then goes down, and there's trend continuation. And if you don't understand this, I mean, I literally have the right here, spring in a downtrend, right there, right? When 75.52 got sprung by 75.44, right? And what happened? It set up the up thrust, which was a beautiful trade opportunity. That's one. And this is just the current hourly downtrend. Second was right here, 73.70. It got sprung right here on 73.64, which did what? Set up the up thrust right here. This is not me typing. These are indicators, indication signals, all of that. So I know that there's no interpretation here. This is what happens. All right, they break the low, and then they take it up above the high, and then they break. There's a lot to it. It also has to do with stops and running the stops and that initiating the selling pressure to go to lower price levels and stuff like that. But this is, again, this is the first time it happened here in the downtrend on the pullback. I think it's the first time. Yeah. This is the second time in a row. This is the third time it's happening. However, so I knew that, like over here when it rejected, it should at least take out one of these highs. And it did. It took out both of them and set up the up thrust position for a break. However, this time it's a little bit more challenging because there's a very strong daily level here. So there's the problem. So this up thrust, I'm not too keen on looking for the short here, even though it's a trend, etc., because the daily had a rally and a pullback. On the pullback, it's actually screwed everybody here because they went short. The hourly traders, they went short and they got stopped out above these highs. Okay, they're out, right? So they were looking at this bar right there, without paying attention to the level. That level is really strong. There's an entire base, and you can see it here. Look at this whole base. It's not easy to absorb all of that volume and break it. All right, so there's always up, down, hanging around, and then breaks. So, so what am I looking for? I want to see how it pulls back and holds this area, because I think this may be an attempt for it to go higher. It's a very strong possibility, because if you take a look at these bars here, these are actually breakout bars. They're taking out this high and this high, and this is the biggest in 11 bars, and this is the biggest in 12 bars. So there's buying pressure in these two bars, which are taking out these two highs. That's a breakout. So from a bullish perspective, you entered a spring within a downtrend, and that initiated a breakout to take out 2 prior highs. From a bearish perspective, did this only to set up the upthrust to then sell. So I'm not sure which side is going to win this. So the thing to do is just back off and let them fight it out, right? Because it's too hard to determine who's right, who's wrong. Because you have factors, you know, on the bearish side, the trend is down. On the bullish side, you have a daily rally right here, which is bigger than the prior 4 rallies, and a pullback position right at support. So what do you do? Answer is just back off and wait. Anyway, I want to see what it does as it pulls back, because this is where it's going to get really interesting. You see these lines of support? When Wyckoff talk about lines of support, here is that line. This is 72.27, and there's one that's a little more extreme at 71.61, which was where buyers just said, that's it, we've had enough, bring the market back up. All right, so this could be accumulation. This 20 and this 22 across this line. This is this spring or shakeout below. Buy some more or bag holding and break out to the upside above the high of the base. And with the decent volume too. You know, you have right there good volume. So I want to see what happens when we pull back to 72.27 and 71.61. Okay, now what I'm showing you guys here, it's like, as you know, his Wyckoff did it, but he did it by hand in those times. It's just, I don't know, I'm just doing it like this. All right, so have fun. Let's take a look at what happens at when crude oil pulls back to 72.27, a little bit lower, to see if buying pressure comes in. All right, let's see. Any other markets? I'm not going to go any other markets, but the final thing to say here is that this is also, I think, the biggest bar in 16 green bars here. So this looks like a valid breakout of this area. So, all right, we'll see. Thanks. Take care. Bye.